Sawadee ka. Yeah, this is my first time in Bangkok. I'm incredibly excited to be here and super honored to be able to open up the 2 days of learning and sharing about Ruby and Rails here in Thailand, in this region that is booming and growing, and it's very exciting to be here. And I gotta say, yeah, I'm already impressed by the coffee scene. Check this out, it's a 15-minute walk from here, very nice place, micro roastery. Yeah, so my name is Irina. Bill actually gave a pretty good intro, so I'll just show you some of the logos. Gotta say, this is an experimental presenting software, so bear with me. This is what you gotta do, right? 2026, if you prepare for the talk, you build your own presenting stuff, of course. When I moved to San Francisco 2 years back, and something started really kind of bugging me. And I think it might be bugging you as well, I wonder. And this is this question. Are you still using Ruby? And there's this tone, right? There's this kind of pause. Are you still on Rails? And you know, you hear it from all sides, from people who switched off of Rails or other folks. And I wanted to really look into this and figure out what is really happening here. Is it legit? And you know, where are we? And I started this kind of investigation, and this led to about over 50 interviews with founders that chose Ruby on Rails in recent years. I also gave 6 talks, organized 1 conference together with friends, and we also worked, at the same time we also worked with, I counted, during the same 2 years we worked with 25 startups as Evil Martians, 25 Rails startups. So I kind of like used all of that context to find out what is really happening with Ruby and Rails today. And what I found is interesting. I think it goes deeper, kind of speaks to ourselves. Let me show you this. So the first thing I found is fear, and I want to talk about it. Let me tell you this. So our hero, the hero of the story, is a Ruby engineer who loves Ruby, and you know, it's you, it's us all, and we've built things with Ruby, and we enjoy it, and we know we are productive with Ruby. Ruby feels right, but lately there's anxiety, kind of creeping in. What kind of anxiety? I mean, obviously, okay, AI. It's taking our jobs, of course. Everybody knows that. Every kind of like headline says so. And but more than that, of course, Python kind of has it is the biggest player in ML, and that's why, you know, because everybody needs AI, everybody's kind of defaults to Python in some sense. All the SDKs, tutorials, they all prefer, give preference to Python. And but then there's also JavaScript. Well, like, you ask me, what the hell does it do? It has to do with AI. But JavaScript is there because everybody knows that. Let's face it. Every web developer knows JavaScript, of course. Ruby is big in some parts of the world, like Japan, but yeah, references. But yeah, Japan is, well, special, right? Japan is different. So this is not enough, obviously. So let's go kind of like underneath. And I think the real question, and the real question we are asking ourselves, and the source of fear, is not really about Ruby. It's not about Ruby. It's a deeper question. It's a question of how do I secure, you know, kind of like the future of my family for the next 10 years. So, I mean, for what it's worth, if I need to, I would switch to Python or learn ML or do whatever it takes, right, to secure, you know, my career, my family's future for the next 10 years. But there's also another effect that I'm noticing, and I would call it the shame. Let's talk about this for a sec. So it's when founders do not mention Ruby to investors or in their press releases to media. So they will kind of like avoid, for example, everybody knows about Figma, nobody knows it's running on Ruby on Sinatra, right? Because, well, they talked about it. So, they actually have a technical blog about it, but it's not very well known. It's not in their press releases, obviously. They talk about WebAssembly and other stuff. What else? Engineers, they also say, yeah, we are on Rails, but, you know, yeah, we are considering some other modern stacks, etc. Also, job posts. Many of the job posts will not say that they're looking for Ruby on Rails developer. They will say backend. And then inside, if you go inside, we'll find out, oh, this is actually a Ruby on Rails app. So let's put this into perspective, how we normally respond to fear, right, as human beings. And okay, I'm not your therapist, but I'll be quick. It's a short version. Yeah, like what males, you know, can do to avoid therapy. Yeah, you failed. So first one is denial, right? We deny the problem. We say, no, it's all good, all fine. Then there's shame that we just talked about. So you kind of start avoiding, you know, the conversation about Ruby on Rails. You just say, oh, I'm a backend engineer, you know, we're doing backend. And then there's also flight, where you could be like learning Rust on weekends, as you do. And then, but then it all kind of goes back to the defensiveness again, where you say, look, Ruby's always been misunderstood, Ruby's always been niche, Rails been niche, etc. So nothing has changed. But these are all reactions that I'm noticing, I'm seeing them. I don't think they're good reactions. Think about this. I think we need a better reaction to fear, but we need to acknowledge it, right? It's real. So I want to propose for you the mentor. So the mentor will help guide us through this fear. How about this? And this mentor, let's listen, is Sarah May. Let's listen to her. Let's listen to Sarah May. So Sarah May, I think, gave a fantastic presentation at our conference in November, and I want to use some of the quotes from there. So one is, operating from a place of fear is not helpful to us as individuals, industry, and society. So operating from a place of fear is not helpful. Think about this. And Sarah May has been in the industry for over 20 years, much more than 20 years, actually. And she saw a bunch of shifts that maybe not everybody witnessed. And the first one was virtual machines in the 90s. And the second one was the cloud, the introduction of the cloud in the 2000s. And now, of course, AI. And every time we think, this is taking away our jobs. Virtual machines are taking away our jobs of allocating memory blocks, right? Well, no. Anyway, so what every shift did is something else. What is it? Virtual machines. Yes, we develop faster. We develop more effectively. Also, we take more ambitious projects. We take, we take on bigger tasks. But finally, it actually allows more people in. So people who maybe don't want to figure out memory allocation problems themselves, they can use virtual machines. Or they can use AI for some of the tasks. Think about this. So every shift, every technology did not, was not really against software developers. It was making the industry bigger. So this is precisely what Sarah thinks is going to happen, what I also believe is going to happen. So shortly, my story, I joined Evil Martians in 2017. I built with Ruby and Rails before, but this is where I I saw us building fantastic things in the Ruby on Rails community, for the ecosystem, any cable test prof, action policy, deep, many more. And the problem was I also had the exact same fear. Is this all in vain? Because, is Ruby gonna stay? Like, is all the work we're doing in this ecosystem, is it in vain? Of course, I was worried about this. I had the same fear. What I realized is our team, we have 50 people, and our team was constantly searching for different other options, actually, because we have a whole JavaScript group, JavaScript team, and they also wanted to build full-stack applications themselves, and they actually tried, Next, whatever, like all other stuff. All this stuff, literally. They tried all JavaScript frameworks. Our backend engineers, some of them were tired of Ruby, etc. They tried building products with Rust, with Go, etc. The conclusion that our team came to was that we are most productive with Rails. And 2021, I'm becoming CEO, and I realized, Jesus, if our team believes that, and our team is, some of the best engineers in the world for real, it has to mean something. And this is when I became convicted in, taking this message out, that I want to go and I want to talk about this, why Ruby on Rails is the best. So I want to bring you some of the evidence of what is happening today. But first, I want to give shout out to some of the companies here in this region, Southeastern Asia, that are building with Ruby on Rails and hiring Ruby developers right now. I think Nimble was already mentioned today, but there are more. And one of them is also a customer of AnyCable Pro, so I knew them from before. So that's shout out to those companies here. Now I'll mostly use, in today's presentation, I'll mostly use the feedback I got from the startups that demoed at our conference. So we had 25 demos, 12 of them were AI native startups, 5 were Y Combinator backed, and 3 were already unicorns, so like older guys. But these were all the founders. You might recognize one of them here, Carmine, and ask him about it in more detail. But just think about this. These are all new companies that chose Ruby on Rails in recent years. And they are not, it's not a legacy choice for them, right? It's all new companies, mostly from San Francisco Bay Area. And I want to talk to you about a few of them quickly. So one is Bolt.new. You might have heard about this product. You might have used it. Maybe your marketing team used it for some website generation, etc. And they actually have a fantastic track record of reaching 40 million ARR in 8 weeks. I gotta tell you something. It's 8 weeks after 7 years of building. We were with them for 4 out of 7 years. But yeah, so they chose Rails, and when basically what happened, they were building a different product, StackBlitz, and then they came up with the idea of Bolt. It started taking off, and the fact that they had Rails, and Devil Martians, I don't know. The fact that they had Rails helped them so much to actually build towards all those use cases that people wanted, to iterate really fast and stay to actually reach the numbers that you see on the screen. The other one I want to mention is Quora Computer. It's a very new product. They only launched last year, but I think it was really cool. They were featured in the New Yorker. Come on. So this is an AI inbox, super kind of like AI heavy inbox, and then this is also built on Ruby on Rails. Think about this. And we'll mention Kieran, the founder of Quora, again in this presentation, because he's building a lot of stuff in open source as well, and this is really interesting. Finally, Chat with Work. This is the product by Carmina, and it's a product where you can search and kind of like draft whatever answers you want using data from across all of your work applications. So again, this is where Carmina is using Rails, Ruby LLM, and the async stack to make it super efficient. So again, another fantastic example of a fully kind of AI-centric product built with Rails and succeeding, experimenting, being very ambitious. My final case study for tonight is Fin. Fin is interesting. Fin is a new product from Intercom. Intercom is big, Intercom. Intercom is a SaaS for customer support. So of course they needed to build an AI-powered customer support, obviously. But and by the way, if you come to San Francisco, you will see billboards of Fin AI everywhere, literally, on every grocery store, bus stop, literally everywhere. What they did is they kept building this inside Rails. And this is also surprising if you think about this, because they had to build essentially a new product. It's a new startup. It's kind of easier to, to kind of like create something new in Python, whatever. No, they're building this on Ruby on Rails, and yeah, inside the 2 million lines of code Rails monolith, and they are efficient and they are growing. And FinAI is, this incredible story everybody knows about. Not everybody knows it's on Rails, obviously, but yeah, we all know. That's enough. Finally, you can actually watch their talk at their presentation at our conference, where they talk about how they are being resilient and all of that. So there are 8 more startups that are new startups built on Rails, fully kind of like AI-centric. They built also like kind of like AI insurance underwriting. Think about this. Parallel coding agents infrastructure, superconductor. So different stuff, and all of these things are built with the power of Ruby on Rails. So what I didn't expect is that the founders would be also building out the ecosystem. And yeah, again, sorry. Carmina's ears must be burning. I'm sorry. Yeah, so obviously Ruby LLM is the fastest growing new open source in Ruby ecosystem. And we also have compound engineering, Jesus Christ, plugin for Cloud Code from Kieran. It's fantastic. You got to try it. It's something crazy. Yeah, it's next level engineering with Claude. But also, Brad Gessler is building a lot of things, including Superform. But yeah, you got to check out his work. The reason I'm mentioning this is because, think about this, those founders are building new products, new companies, new startups. At the same time, they're building new open source and tooling for all of us to use. Why are they doing this? Because something is missing. Because founders kind of have other stuff to do. Trust me, right? So if founders are building a lot of open source, it actually means something is missing. We should be paying attention. So there are areas that need work. That's what I'm trying to say. So now that you know that there are all those new companies building with Rails, new very successful startups, at the same time, folks, it's not all done, right? There's a lot of work really to be done to really bring our ecosystem, to the forefront, to really make it competitive, incredibly competitive. And there are real gaps. I will mention some of them. Again, you all know, probably some other gaps, but these are the gaps that were mentioned by those founders. One is Brian. Brian is saying, look, yes, my core business logic is in Rails, but I'm still building kind of the agentic infrastructure in Python. So essentially, he has two monoliths, Rails and Python. And he's doing something here, something there, and the organization of that is not perfect. So what do we need? We probably need better infrastructure for enabling those kind of multi-agent workflows, complex workflows, where it's not just request response, it's more complex. And yes, there is work for that, but we're not there yet, right? We don't have the best kind of tooling for this. I'm kind of almost afraid to say it, but yeah, I'm going to talk about typing. Okay, who doesn't want types in Ruby? That's fine, no worries, yeah. It's okay. So, it's a difficult topic, obviously, but I gotta say, first of all, the vast majority of big companies that are using Rails are using typed Ruby, either Sortbed or RBS. There's also still an argument for typed Ruby, maybe in relation to AI, to code gen. And we need to figure this out. This is still not, the story of type system is not clear. Okay, this one is crazy. What about serverless Ruby? Yeah, this is difficult to wrap your head around, I guess, because we are thinking of Ruby on Rails as a serverful application. But at the same time, some of those, there are certain patterns where maybe serverless infrastructure would benefit those applications as well. In Bolt's case, they had to use Express.js, serverless Express.js for some of the AI workloads. So what they don't complain about, I'll be quick, I know I'm over time probably. What they don't complain about, this is important. They don't complain about Ruby is too slow, that it doesn't scale, that they can't hire, which is almost a lie. They have troubles hiring, I gotta say. Hiring is still difficult, but they don't say it's impossible. Hiring a Ruby engineer, if you think about this, is a lot harder than hiring a Python or JavaScript engineer, but it's not impossible. And a few words about Ruby is slow. This is the narrative from 10 years back, 12 years back. What does it look like today? Just as a reminder, Ruby 3 is 3 times faster than it was. Also, Widget is another 15 to 20% performance improvement. There are links to that. Let's compare Ruby Widget to Python. What do you think? Ruby's faster. Ruby's 2 times faster on benchmarks, and I was surprised. Yeah. So Ruby with Widget is almost on all the benchmarks, except kind of like one, is faster than Python. Think about this. Also, I just found this. If we compare frameworks, let's separately compare micro frameworks and full stack frameworks, right? Because micro framework is not doing all of the stuff that the full-on framework is doing. So we have this very kind of famous benchmarks from Tech and Power. Express.js is kind of fastest, but Roda, folks, Roda is kind of at 96% of Express's performance. So this was actually super surprising for me. So if you need a super performant, super fast Ruby micro framework, just take Roda. That's what I'm trying to say, because it's like super efficient. And yeah, fast API is much slower. Just throwing. Yeah. And if we compare full stack frameworks, by the way, this was also surprising. I just found it yesterday. So Laravel with Workerman server is actually faster than Puma. So yeah, Nate Berkopic anywhere, like somewhere. Take a note. I'm kidding. So Laravel, but most people actually are using the Laravel that is twice slower. So on the bottom, because this is the standard Laravel, and this is very experimental, new, and that nobody's using. So yeah, first of all, Rails is faster than Django. Rails is faster than Laravel. So all the links are there. Now, finally, 5 cents for me. If you want to build very performant systems with Ruby on Rails, we have to let go of purism. This is also important. If you think about this, we actually already have tooling built and infrastructure built with Go, Rust, or C++. Why, guys, databases are kind of not built with Ruby, you know? Build tools are also can be built with those super performant languages. In most companies, when they scale Rails, they start building those tools for themselves. The important part is that those tools should know nothing about this business logic. No, those tools should know nothing about, you know, the stuff that you change, the stuff that you iterate on. Because the stuff that you change, this is where Ruby is best. And you can read it, it's beautiful, etc. So yes, we can use Python for, of course, kind of like model trading. It's fine. And yes, we can use React for frontend. So these are all kind of, I'm just saying, let's not be purists. So we don't have to. And yeah, there's a link to my blog post about this. Finally, the surveys, just looking at how popular Ruby on Rails is. So there's one survey where Ruby on Rails is #5 most used language. And this is the Pragmatic Engineer survey. And it has a very big focus on senior engineers based in Bay Area or engineers from kind of like big tech, well-funded companies, mostly American companies. So this is where Ruby on Rails is #5 most used and #3 most loved, which even surprised the creators of the poll. But then if we look at big polls, kind of like Stack Overflow, etc., we'll find Ruby much lower, not in top 10. What does it mean? It means Ruby on Rails are popular among, yeah, I'm going to say Bay Area folks, but yeah, you could say very well-funded companies among senior engineers, etc. So we're not winning new folks around the world. We are popular in this kind of like niche, but it's an important niche. So that's that. Just mentioning some of the Ruby success stories that are either hosted as Ruby or, you know, they had speakers at our Meetup or conference, all of them. And finally, the insight. So first of all, I think Ruby's strength is actually more important in the AI era. Why? I think I'm stealing somebody's reference here, but yes, Ruby is more token efficient. Everybody, okay, who from the speakers wanted to reference this benchmark today? Nobody, okay, cool. So, okay, cool. So Ruby is more token efficient than Python and a lot more token efficient than Go and Java. What does it mean? It means it will use less tokens to generate the same result, which is great. There's a source, etc. Oh my God, I will not go over this thing, but basically I have a strong belief that convention over configuration helps AI code gen. And if you think outside of Rails, people have to describe essentially Rails conventions inside their agentmd files. And we don't have to do this. We don't have to describe the basic code organization patterns because they are already in the model. And then we only kind of describe what's on top of it, which is efficient. But I also want to mention what's missing. So there are certain things that are important for having AI in kind of like in production workflows. And those are streaming, async jams, Falcon, Encable, of course, Ruby LLM, things like that. But I think there are certain things that are not yet integrated, and our async story is a big part of it. So we should kind of like double down on our async story. And then, yeah, my impression, we should also have something like active agent, although people have different opinions about it. So what am I trying to say? Choosing Ruby is not the default, and it's not an easy path. So think about this again. You have this fear, right? Should I do this? The reality is you have a choice. You have a choice. You can act, you can choose what you want to do. Because choosing Ruby is not kind of like free money, it's not default. You will not get everything at once. For example, at least you will not get SDKs as fast. You will not get vendor integrations as fast. Example of Anthropic kind of shipped Python SDK immediately, and then Alex Rodell built the Anthropic gem, and then they asked him for it. Yeah, they asked him to kind of like give us the gem name and stuff. Yeah, 2 years later, folks. So that's how slow things are, unfortunately. So in Ruby ecosystem, we build stuff, and then those big vendors are kind of like, oh my god, yeah, we want to support it. So you have a choice. One is bigger ecosystem like Python, JavaScript, TypeScript. You wait for SDKs, or you have them already. Yeah, they actually come very quickly. Yeah, or you have the Ruby community. I don't know if you're not getting the analogy yet. I'll help you. So choosing Ruby is not easy. It's not an easy path, and it's a path where your contribution to the ecosystem is crucial. That's what I'm trying to say. We cannot just sit back and wait. We have to do stuff. Okay, so that's the red pill. If you, yeah. Okay, so this is how I found my mission, to talk about this, talk about the benefits of Ruby on Rails. And my colleague Vladimir put it like this: Rails is not a single perfect idea. And when we say Rails, we don't mean the core, we mean the whole ecosystem. So the whole ecosystem is a messy quilt that we are kind of like constructing, weaving together. And your participation is crucial. So Ruby ecosystem needs a bunch of things from you, including mentions, requesting missing SDKs. If somebody wants to join me to request proper ClickHouse integration with Active Record, do that. We need to mention, we need to be open, we need to contribute open source, collaborate with authors, give them feedback, contribute your ideas, promote the constructive vision. So instead of saying Ruby is dead, I'm depressed, I fear it, let's be constructive. Let's do, yes, I made this choice to be in this ecosystem because I want to contribute, I want to be a part of it, I want to be an active part of it. So because of that, let's run local meetups, let's run conferences across different regions, like these folks in red shirts, and let's celebrate the success stories. Let's do this together, and let's bring more people into the community. People that are quietly just consuming Ruby. So the question isn't will Ruby survive? It's what you will build. And yeah, if you want to do this, welcome to Ruby. Thank you. Okay, I know I'm probably over time. I have stickers, and this presentation is available at this URL already. So thank you.